Welcome back, family, to another episode of the Twin Flame Spiritual Chef podcast. I'm Janine, your host, here with my lovely, lovely twin flame,
Keisha.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, family. So we got a lot of questions about what it is that we do. And based off of our last video, if you haven't checked it out, go back and check it out when you get a chance. But we wanted to clarify a couple of things, especially the preparation process when it comes to preparing for the sessions that Keisha and I provide. So we do something that's called Quantum Healing Hypnotherapy. QHHT for short. You may see that term a lot if you do a little bit of investigating. So our quantum healing hypnotherapy process is something that was founded by the great metaphysician Dolores Cannon, and she was able to utilize her hypnotherapy skills in order to tap into spirit and tap into your subconscious in order to get answers to the unknown. I can't explain how it happens, even why it happens, but it's pretty miraculous. It's a miraculous and very intimate process. And we stumbled upon it one day
Sure did.
as twin flames, just learning about each other and trying to understand our purpose. So we wanted to fill everybody in a little bit about what this process is. So I know Keisha and I have been doing it for a little while now, and we found that in doing it, that we have been able to really help a lot of people with moving forward in their lives, and a lot of the things that we get stuck on, a lot of things that we don't understand or realize that hinders us, really truly does keep us from achieving the most out of life and these great goals that we are all destined to achieve or have the opportunity to achieve. But it's just a matter again of just making sure that you learn how to let go. So in your experiences, Keisha, I just, tell everybody, how the process is for you and in preparation for your clients.
Okay, so and I just want to put a little sidebar. If you're watching this, which you are, it's not by accident that you're here. So I really want you to follow us and understand what the purpose that we're trying to portray to you. So going back to what Janine was saying, I normally ask a client within a 2-week period to start listening to meditation music. What we found is that a lot of times people have a hard time just concentrating, and quantum healing in the process is important for a person to get to the third level of sleeping. And so with meditation, we ask people to listen to the music that we send them in advance, and tell them at least 3 to 4 times before the session to concentrate while they're listening to the music and do not fall asleep. That's a stipulation.
Right. So not to cut you off, but just to tap in really quick about the different levels of sleep. So I know some of
Yeah.
you may or may not have heard about these different levels of the sleeping process. So, you can have a light sleep, you can have a heavier sleep. So you have the alpha waves, the beta waves, and then also the theta, right? Theta.
And then
So
delta.
delta. So we want to get you to that deep part of sleep, the data, right? The delta. I'm saying it all wrong. It's the delta,
The
right?
third is the third level.
It's
You know, the
that
fourth level
third
is
level.
if you're like completely knocked out. We don't want you
Yeah.
there, but we want you to get to the third level.
But sometimes people don't get to that third level. Sometimes people may
Yes.
just be just before it.
Mhm.
And it's okay because we've noticed that more and more people are a little bit more awake during the process. And then when they
Yeah.
come out of it, they question everything that was said. And they're like, well, I was fully awake. But some people are a
Mhm.
little bit more tapped into their subconscious than what they realize. And as a result, they're unable to really fall asleep, but their subconscious comes through still very, very strong. Keisha and I are very skilled at what we do.
Yes.
So because we are able to manipulate, especially and think quickly during the process, we know how to ask certain questions in order to get the most out of your session.
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
but it's important that when you're in the sleeping process, that there are certain things that have to occur. So this is why we're talking about the preparation process,
Yes.
because you have to know how to get yourself into that third level of sleep. So I know you were mentioning
Yeah.
meditation music, right?
The meditation music is conditioning your brain and conditioning yourself to be able to lay there because the session takes approximately, once you're laying down for the session, it takes about an hour to hour and a half for the whole entire session. So if you are not conditioned to lay there and not have any true thoughts in your mind, it can be a hindrance. And we have had clients that had some hard times.
Yeah,
So we've learned along the way that the meditation music helps. And then
definitely.
moving forward, once that happens, within 3 to 4 days before the session, we have a pre-interview with the person, and basically we find out from them what are they looking for in a session. Um, I'm always amazed to find out what people are looking for. And what I like about it is come as you are. So some people want to know why are they here, and some people want to know should they stay with their significant other.
Yep.
So Janine and I tell them, we speak to them during a pre-interview to find out basically what are they looking for, and we request from them. And some people are hard-headed, but we request from them to have a list, two lists. One list is what they want to ask in their session, what are they looking for, and the second list is what kind of healing are they looking for. And this is a significant note that, especially for mothers, because we do not do children. I also emphasize to mothers that you can ask questions regarding your children when it comes out to healing in their bodies, because
Hmm.
of course we cannot put children under. We don't do anyone under 18.
And a lot of times people don't even know what it is that they want. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that we are skilled in what we do, we know how to gather as much information possible in order to bring out the most healing. So
Definitely.
another good thing is because we're and that's our intuition. Because we're very intuitive, we can definitely tap into what it is that can help you release a lot of these things that you're holding on to. So
Definitely.
yeah,
And it's funny as you say that, because sometimes when I say, well, wouldn't you want to know that? And they're like, oh, yeah, put that down. Write that down on the list.
exactly. So that meditation music is imperative for certain people who have a hard time settling their nerves, or a lot of people that come to us that are holding on to a lot of anxiety,
Yes.
and especially about the process. Sometimes about you're a little nervous about the process, and you don't realize how much the meditation music helps settle you, and or whatever it is that you're holding on to in that moment. um that meditation music helps settle you. We ask you to do it for maybe 20 to 30 minutes a day. It's even better if you can do it before you go to bed at night.
Yes.
When we ask you to prepare, we like to give you a couple of days from the time we actually do our initial assessment of you to the scheduled date of your session. So there'll be a couple of days in time in order to do this preparation. We don't want you to overthink it either,
No.
and and there's really no need for you to overthink it, because what's going to come out is going to come out,
Definitely.
and
De-
what they need to help you with in that moment is just going to come out.
yeah.
So don't overthink the process. Just know that this is totally spiritual, and whatever
Mhm.
it is that your spirit guides need us to know, they're going to bring it forth. And a lot of times what we have understood in the process, that we don't go necessarily looking for people
No.
to do QHHT on. They come finding us.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it has been family members, friends that have been coming to us because your spirit guides are looking for us to help you.
Yes. Yeah.
So that we found that very, very interesting, and we
Yeah.
realized that God is in control of this whole process. So even the questions that we ask, again, is so intuitive and is so pre-planned from God, that we
Yeah.
ask these questions that are that we don't even realize that we're asking them, and it just turns out so perfect,
Yes.
right? It turns out so
Yeah.
perfect.
I
So
also, oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, 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 go ahead.
I wanted to add about the part you said, not having any fear.
Yeah.
One of the things I emphasize in the pre-interview is that this is a loving process.
Yes.
And I also tell my clients that while we're doing a pre-interview, your spiritual team is listening. And so they're preparing as we're on the phone with our clients, their spiritual teams are preparing for their session because they get to hear what the person is looking for,
Yeah.
and they get an idea of what they should bring forth in your session. So I tell everyone this is a loving process, and we have found that before this session, which may be 2 or 3 days later, the person might start seeing signs that their spiritual team has been listening. So we
Yes.
found that very interesting.
Yes. So
Um,
like for
yeah,
example, like the dreaming part of
yes,
it. And really quick, I just want to touch on why dreaming is important, because dreaming takes you into that that dimension where you're able to really connect with spirit.
yes,
So we don't realize how important dreams are. Dreams is is that opportunity for them to talk to us. So a lot of times people
yeah,
get dreams and they don't know that their dreams are really messages.
they are.
So if you don't dream, that doesn't mean you're a bad person, but it
Exactly.
just means that you have to do a little bit more fine tuning in order to tap in. So we don't necessarily recommend that people that are unable to dream move forward with quantum healing. And it doesn't mean that you can't dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that you have to thin your veil a little bit in order to really tap in. So we noticed, and I'm going to turn this back to you, Keish, because I know you had an example
Yes.
of a client who didn't dream, right? So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So it was ironic because I actually like how Janine had mentioned that sometimes our clients find us. So I was out to eat with two women, and I was explaining to them what I do. So they both were interested, and one of them said, "Well, don't." I asked them because at this point we had so much experience. I said, "Do you dream?" And one of them said, "Yes, I do," and the other one says, "No, I don't." So I said to the one that doesn't dream, I said, I'm not going to say no to you. I said, but we found it hard to hypnotize people who do not dream. Literally 2 days later, she says to me, I had a dream last night. And she said, I hadn't dreamed in years. And she said, after having that conversation with you, I had a dream last night. So that's just validation that your spiritual team is sitting there listening. And
Yep.
she's been dreaming ever since. So
Yes.
I was elated because that was just validation for me, and that our spiritual teams are always listening to our conversations. Not in a bad way. I don't want you to feel like you're being spied on. But they, but but when it comes down to this kind of work, our we've connected with other people's spiritual teams, and they have been so phenomenal in this process. And again, like I said, they come through lovingly.
They do, absolutely. And don't think too, because you don't dream that you can't. I have to re-emphasize that,
Yeah,
because I have had clients that did not dream. And a lot of it was in the beginning of the learning stages of me doing this process.
yeah,
But we can still bring forth healing with even without us utilizing quantum healing. It's just that quantum healing is a tool, just like everything else. Quantum healing
yes.
is a tool that we use for the healing process, but we can go about it in other ways. So don't be discouraged. But if you do dream, even if it's just a little bit,
Come.
then there's still hope. You can still
Yep.
have this really dynamic
Exactly.
and a beautiful and again intimate experience. So so don't fret.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
fret. We also like to encourage people to be able to we utilize candle work a lot. So We want you to bring a candle with you. We use candles during the process because that candle is going to symbolize the
Mm-hmm.
start and the finish of the introduction of your healing process.
Yes. Yes.
So we always recommend for you to bring a white candle with you. We do a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of prayer, and
Yeah.
we ask you to put intentions into the candle, and we notice that that helps a lot because something happens as that candle continues to burn that
Mm-hmm.
really like it speeds up and sparks that process. And some
Yeah.
of these things, I'm telling you guys, we can't really explain it.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. It just is, and it just lets you know the power of the process.
Also, too, I want to add in there. When we first started, there were times where I was going to people's homes, and I would ask them to burn a candle starting either the day before or the morning of. I think the candle is validation to the other side that you're ready,
Mm,
because the other side won't do anything you're not comfortable with.
yeah,
So you burning a candle is just letting them know I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I'm here.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
And
So
going back to the whole prayer, Janine and I both, what we do is that day that we're going to meet with you, we start our prayer that morning. Like
yeah,
we go through this spiritual thing, just because the thing is we want to come prepared too. We come because we're honored that we're doing it. So we come, like on a sacral level, and we try to raise our vibrations for your spiritual team to meet them on that level. So we're preparing from the morning. So it's a lot
definitely.
of energy that we expend on our end.
I wanted to say that too. I wanted to bring that up, how much energy we utilize during the process, because a lot of times when we come out of it, we're very, very exhausted. But it
Yeah.
also it does something for us. It also elevates
Hmm.
us. It adds to our energy. For I don't know what it is. It's just that's how you know we're living in our purpose, because
Yes.
it really gives us this burst of energy.
Hmm.
And a lot of times at her and I, because we're twin flames, we have to bounce off of each other in
Yeah.
order to get you the most healing. So there'll be times where even if I don't feel comfortable doing somebody for whatever reason, I can't tell you what it is. My spirit will tell me that, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with this particular case. I will bounce it off to Keisha. But it's important sometimes for us to talk about the cases, but it's only us, because we don't
Yes.
disclose your information to anyone else. But we talk as business partners, as twin flames, to be able to make sure that we're really digging deep into whatever the issues are that you're having, so we can
Yeah.
bring out the most during your session.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So one thing that we don't recommend, and
Uh-oh.
this is important because
Yes.
people want to know the do's and the don'ts. So
Yes.
here's the don'ts, and this is critical. But you cannot um partake in any substances at least within 24 hours prior to your
Yeah.
session. If you have a substance issue, then we recommend that you do get further help for that. But we are asking you that is, and when you're preparing for your sessions, that you do not partake in any
Yeah.
alcohol,
Mood
uh,
altering substances.
yeah, any
Marijuana.
all mind altering substances are out. So if
Yeah.
you think it's going to help you sleep better, or if you think it's going to help you tap into your subconscious, I'm telling you, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Even for us, we don't partake in these
Yeah.
things
No.
prior to a
Mm-mm.
session. And it's very ritual. It's very ritualistic, the things that we have to do in order to prepare. And we are fine tuning it every single time. And
Hmm.
it's making us stronger each and every time. So we do the same thing that you do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our
Exactly.
preparation,
Be prepared.
yeah, our preparation is just as intense as it is for you. So you're not alone in the process. But yeah, but it's very, very critical. So no mind altering substances, and just keep your mind clear. keep your
Mm-hmm.
mind clear. I know I mentioned it earlier, but it's very critical that you don't overthink the process. Don't try to force anything. Don't worry about what's gonna come out. Um,
Yeah.
Remember, everything is in love, as Keisha mentioned.
Yeah.
Everything is in love. So don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Don't feel that your secrets are going to, I don't know, come out and bite you in the ass in some way. But these things, whatever's brought out in your session is meant for you, and
Yes.
your
Yes.
subconscious and your team is working with you to help you understand that you have to release these things in order to move forward. Right, Keish?
Yep, definitely. And the previous videos that we talked about, the conversations we had in our previous videos, it all comes together in this video because we talked about karma in the last video. So this opportunity you have, you are able to see what karma you're serving or what karma you can get fixed. So this is to me, this is a gift,
It
and it
is.
truly is a gift. And people, it's a is what's that? That's that line. America's best hidden secret, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I was thinking about prior to us doing this session. How can you let someone know that this is for them? And one of the things I that came to me is, if you ever wondered, like, why are you here? Why did you come? Why am I suffering? Why am I having so many patterns in my life that's not being fixed? Quantum healing is perfect. QHHT is perfect for you.
It is.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And I don't think, and just so you know, we have done it. So
Woo!
we're not just telling you to do it just because. She and I have done it on each other, and
Yes.
we have learned so many things
And
about
it's been
ourselves.
life changing. Life
Life
changing.
changing, mind altering.
Yes.
It's so powerful, and you don't
Yes.
realize the benefits of it, especially when you're willing to do the work in order to fix your life. So this opens the
Exactly.
door to so many great possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to suffer, and you don't have to live in pain and anxiety and
Yeah.
darkness. And some of the great benefits of having this is not only do you learn how to let go, but you can tap into your past lives, you can tap into your akashic records, you can
Yes.
even gain some level of healing, from physical to emotional
Definitely.
healing.
Mm-hmm.
And you also can um I just lost it. But just know that there's just, oh, speaking to those that have passed on, most importantly,
Yes.
people don't
Yes.
realize that that is also a part of the package. That if
Mm-hmm.
there are some loved ones that you have lost, they happen to come through during your session, and you
Yeah.
can speak to them. And it's
You sure can. That's
this is why I'm
awesome.
telling you guys, this is the most beautiful
Yes.
experience that anybody could ever receive. And we are so honored to be able to do this for people
Mm-hmm.
and give you this gift so you can learn how to move on and have a great life.
I also want to mention, and I said this before, I had a client who had been to therapy. The way she said it was, I've gone to therapy for months, and I had one session with you, and that one session answered so many, it healed her more than the months of therapy she received.
Yeah.
So, and when I say therapy, I'm talking like a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So, she was so elated. And this particular client admitted to me when she said that line, she said, I went to God because she goes to church every Sunday. And she said, I went to God and asked him to not be mad at me for going to get this QHHT, because she wasn't sure if she was overstepping her boundaries with God.
Yeah.
And she said to me, after she said that line about going to therapy for months, and this was more phenomenal than all those months, she said, now I know this is from God.
Yeah.
Like I said, she was amazed and said now she know this is from God. So I was so, Janine and I get so excited when we hear the post information we get from our clients, because it's just validation for the two of us. Because even though we're experienced at this, we get excited along with the client,
We
because
do.
this is a gift, and we're honored. Like, we are so honored when we do this. We are so elated, because the way we look at it is, when we have you under this hypnotherapy session, and you're doing the QHHT, we know that other your spiritual team is there, our spiritual team is there, source God is there. So we are so just honored that we have been chosen to do this kind of work, and that we get the opportunity during these sessions to be in this element with all of these entities that's in the room with us. So it's, and you can feel the energy.
You can
We
definitely feel
definitely
the
feel the
energy.
energy. Yeah.
So this healing is not only for you, it's for us too, because we get so
Yes.
much out of it, and we love what we do. We are totally, totally living in our purpose. So
We are.
bring it on. Whatever problems you have, bring it on. Another thing that I will say is, and this is a very serious point that I have to bring up, but if you do have certain psychological disorders
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
that we cannot move forward unless you seek further help. So we are not here to replace anyone's um, psychotherapist or therapist. We're not here to replace any type of clinician or any medical help that you feel that you need, or to get you off of any psychotropic medications. We're not
Yes.
here to do any of that. We're here to help with your spiritual and emotional growth, and hope that it can again help lead to you letting go of a lot of things, and you
Yes.
being happier and feeling more fulfilled in life.
Definitely.
And that's it. So just bear that in mind, that if you do have certain psychological disorders, that you do follow up with your clinician for more help.
Definitely. And I will say this: people who are depressed and only have depression as your diagnosis, you can have these sessions.
Yeah, you
But,
can.
the other ones, we can't do you.
Yeah, so like bipolar disorder, or if you have
Yeah,
schizophrenia, or any personality disorders, we do recommend that you seek further help prior to receiving any treatment from us. Okay. So thank you guys for stopping in.
yes.
Can't wait to tell you more. So
Mm-hmm.
come on by. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. For more information, details to our clinic will be listed below, and can't wait to see you again. Until next time, family, make sure it just remember that God is love. Love is the highest frequency, and make sure you go and find the God within you. Love you guys. Have a good night.